I did email Minerva and Jennifer Metter, because they both have some info, so I wanna know what it is, what do they have? Because Bob said, I prefer that just a few of us have all of it, so that we all do the same thing at the same time, you know? So anyway, that's kind of what we're doing, so.
Okay.
But anyway, I haven't heard from them, so I don't know what they have, and Lou is sick, I don't know if he's had that, so he wasn't doing good at all, he did some stuff, but he said he felt like it's kind of like this big, yeah, so.
Somebody's fiddling with it, guys.
In progress.
He was here the appointment.
Oh, we're gonna talk about Tony today.
Yeah, I know, well, I know. It is, it's hard, we think about how, we think about it every day, but we know we can't yet, you know, so.
You have that information?
But what would it feel like? Okay, yeah. Did you both compare at the same time?
This is the whole
Yeah.
policy.
Okay.
I just gave it to the page that's gonna have the changes on it. I didn't realize I accidentally created the whole policy anyways.
I told
Is that unfinished? Okay. Okay.
Me and Karen and down there. and some gym and then they moved, sold their house, sister. Who's not here, but I was already at the anyway.
Okay.
And so. Yeah.
48 was recommendation.
But he was there long.
Did you see what I asked you for?
Yes, I did.
75,000.
Yeah, for the director.
And without the qualifications.
I would like to see the contract because there's a whole bunch of, he's got to work
Okay.
ambulance
I would say
included, I mean, scheduled ambulance. I'd like to
well,
see that.
yeah, funny, not the more than I was there.
Can't do the
Before we
QA.
moved here in 2000, so
That's
that's
already-
Well, that's already handled
2000.
by, that's going to be handled.
Loved it,
I think
but I
it's
hate
8,000.
looking at it partial,
It's supposed to
you
be
know.
handled, I think,
And, but I
by
love all the
911.
ladies I work with.
The 911 director
Um,
is going to take those responsibilities on.
They're not QA.
Okay.
Well, I'm just telling you what the paper's telling.
Well, but.
And you saw that too.
See, I didn't even want it. It was
Well,
more,
and
it was truck
they're all up and
products.
tell them. Because
So,
it's
it was like,
8,000.
it's
not-
Adams.
has not been through Quality assurance.
Yeah, I would take Adams.
And
It's-
Okay.
I understand.
Yeah, that's where it was at. That's where it was.
and that has to be something for medical. I would say middle
Yeah,
life
there's
medical.
something else on, yeah.
Dear Heavenly Father, please help us make right decisions for people of Oconee County. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Brumman.
Here.
Thompson.
Here.
Small.
Here.
Brady.
Here.
And then is Dan present via Zoom?
Looks like he has not zoomed in.
Okay.
We unmuted. What is it appropriate for me to suggest change to the agenda? Is it appropriate now? Okay. For the sake of timeliness today, if I could have the patience of the presenters, I'd like to move presentations to after the treasurer's report today. Because our clerk has to leave at 2:30 if she can. And all the alternates are either at training or not here.
Yeah, she has to.
Well, I'm just saying, if we can, you can just bear with us on that. Do I need a motion to do this?
And once you approve any of your changes to the agenda with that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, okay, then I also want to add in, under unfinished business, EMS Assistant Director position. And under new business, advertising for, auditors, for fiscal year auditor. I don't
Going
even
out
know
for
what it's called.
bids.
Yeah, going out for bids. I think that's it. With that being said. Okay, so that's what I got. I'll make motion to revise the agenda, ordered by Bill. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. All right, so we will do public comment, which I forgot to do down, but we'll do it anyway. Anybody here for public comment today? 3 minutes? Anybody on the internet for public comment today? 3 minutes. Hearing none and seeing no texts, we'll move on. Going into unfinished.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Oh,
January
approve the
5th.
minutes, my bad, sorry.
Support.
Move and supported to approve the minutes from January 5th.
And also the regular meeting.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now I can do it. Unfinished business, the opioid settlement direct deposit payments. 70 year, who's,
I think that was all done.
there's something we didn't achieve on that?
No, we submitted our final paperwork that we needed to opt into the two pharmaceutical companies that they had settled on.
Okay,
That was the last thing that we had done. And then this has, I never heard anything in regard to the direct deposits of any of the first payments that are probably supposed to be coming out sometime in April. So I don't know if you need a motion to approve it since it's a financial transaction. It's going to be going as a direct deposit coming in, or if you just want me or Carolyn to set it up, or it's going to go through Cheryl because it's the bank information that they're going to need, the routing and all that good stuff.
I think it's interesting, just as an aside, that of all the entities within the state of Michigan who have access to any of this money, the part that is not been completely settled and agreed upon is $3,596,000 that's being left on the table. Pontiac is one of the big ones. I think they're millions. Yeah, $1.4 million. I think it's wonderful, they don't need $1 million. I know there's strings attached to this. But, you know, and the few that would get like $300, I understand why they're not jumping through these hoops. But 3 million,
So we need a
$3.5
motion,
million.
a motion just to have the clerk, the treasurer, and maybe Carolyn put the funds,
I've been signing them.
as the funds come in or when they come in, to create a line item or place to put it. Is that what we're looking for?
Sure. There's a deadline to register for direct deposit payments. And not being involved in any of this for the last 3 years, I have no idea where the process is other than what's been reported. So that needs to either happen or not happen to sign up for those direct
The
payments.
distribution status is indicating that Alcona County is completely. They have the complete agreement. You got this, didn't you, Steph?
what's the deadline?
Yeah, the 26th of this month. Yeah, in a different version.
That's accepting that you accepted the settlement, but not the direct payments. That's what needs to happen by the 26th if you choose to have that sent directly.
Okay, I thought that was.
Because otherwise they're gonna start, well, they won't show up in a direct deposit if we don't sign up, but come April, if there
I thought
is,
that was-
she's gonna wanna know what it's for and where it's going, and
I will move that whatever documentation
for affidavits need to be accomplished prior to the January date of the be completed through the efforts of clerk, treasurer, or general.
Who is supported?
That's all the signature we want.
Any further discussion? The fulfill requirements, what you're thinking?
I think that's good.
Okay, good. We'll do roll call.
Thompson,
Yeah.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes. 2022 committee appointments. Okay, so. Based on what you have submitted to me, I didn't make any changes that you did not ask for. You can look at it again if you'd like. Apologize if you need it just now. But don't worry, sure.
one you did,
Yeah,
okay,
should be the 2022. That moved some stuff that was different than what you submitted.
okay, that was just what you guys had proposed, so
Yeah.
it was just in red.
Yeah, I had some other suggestions and I adhered to what I
I
was
would like
requesting.
to, again, look forward to the road commission. They have asked for a new commissioner, and I think it's worthwhile to honor that. And I would like to suggest that Bill Thompson be assigned that committee. And it was Xed on the draft that we received earlier, but it's not on the form that you just sent out.
Election of the draft.
Yeah.
Oh, that, yeah. Okay.
And I'll be happy to be all.
Tell you what, we'll go. Try it anyway. Let's go Bill and Craig.
Bill was the alternate being Craig.
Yep. Make that change on your form if you would. This is what I've brought forward. I'll make motion to approve committee assignments as presented or edited. Second by Bill. Any further discussion?
Yeah, we're missing Dan's name on district health department. We only have one and we have 2 seats at that board. And on NIMSCA, you have Adam and Dan. Oh, I'm guessing, okay, Adam, you're the alternate.
Yes. The 2 seats on district health. Then you
Yes.
get off there.
There's Terry and Dan.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, good. Now what do I do?
Can he zoom in on that one?
Yes, I believe he.
Yeah, I didn't intend to take him off. I don't know why.
That was his
it
intention.
dropped off.
That was the one that he had no problem.
Yeah, assuming that because of the process, they already use that all the time.
Right.
Yep.
And have
We'll
that.
put him back on that.
I would even say they have that in there.
I would ask that my term, SUD, run through December of 2022. I sent a letter over, so I remember seeing a copy of it, that extended me from last March, year to March.
I could have put it in the memory file.
My term did expire over there, but it was reinstated.
Yeah, so we'll leave it, we'll just accept.
That can just be scratched off.
Yeah.
Taken off or whatever.
And I don't know if you want to put it on there, but you got it here, alternative repairs that you got written there, so the assumption is.
These are the NEMSCA and the
Yeah.
manpower, and he's gonna be alternate. We don't require two on there.
Okay.
He's gonna be alternative while Dan's out of town.
Okay.
It goes back, but I think that.
Yep.
He comes back. My understanding of
Got
it.
it.
So what do I have to do? I have to amend the. Actually, vote this down and do a new one.
Or you just amend the motion.
All right. Anybody like to amend the motion?
I'll make the motion for the committee assignments as we decided just now. The amendment.
You already have a motion.
We voted on that. No,
No, we didn't vote yet.
What's up?
I'm okay with voting on that first one and everybody can know it. And then we can make a new one for the revised. So, let's do roll call, I think. There we go. All those in favor for the first motion indicate with aye. All those opposed,
Aye.
motion fails. So the new motion, somebody else would like to make it, that'd be great.
I'll make that motion with the corrections.
Stephanie, you got those, the information?
I think I've got all the corrections.
Okay.
There was NEMSCA with you as an alternate.
Yep.
Added, and then District Health Department
Thank God here and Terry.
was added back on there. And then Road Commission, Bill was added, Craig's the alternate.
Yep,
Memory, Carolyn's terms to expire December of 2022.
Yep.
Did I miss one?
no.
I'll start that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. I'm an aye as well. Sorry, I didn't say it, but 3-1.
A second. And, Terry went in.
The appointment is ACCOA contract. I will, well, Bill, actually, you take point on this. He's the official board
Well,
member.
we've had a relatively good working meeting Monday with ACCOA and ourselves, and a contract was derived from that mutual discussion. But if you email back and forth, Tom, Michael actually got one written, and both lawyers all agreed that it was sufficient and it will last. It's only a year long, but the wording will last forever, as long as the millage is for 6 years. But it's right now, this is a contract with ACCOA to perform the millage projects, and it's for 1 year. And we just have to approve it, and then all the signatures will go over to Lenny, and he will sign it, and then it comes back official. All right.
Yeah, and the only reason why it became a little bit of a project is because it's been a long time since we've had a new contract, and when Tom reviewed the old one, he found a lot of places where we should improve. So we're, like Bill said, we came to somewhat of agreement on, well, not somewhat, we were agreed on the language now. So if I can just get somebody to make a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion to approve the senior citizen service agreement for 2021 to 2022.
Second.
And allow the chair to sign.
And allow the chair to sign.
That's any further discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call, please.
Brumman,
No.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Next item, unfinished business, is the position of EMS Assistant Director.
Gentlemen, I believe that we modify, I'm sorry, 210 704, I believe, Assistant Director of Emergency Medical Services, and at the rate of 48,000 annual. As a salary position.
Motion by Bill, or a motion by Carolyn, supported by Bill. Let's discuss. What have discussed?
I was gonna say comparable to other colleges, anything.
It seems to be right there in the ballpark for application.
One thing that we don't have, there is no parallel to that position in the county surrounds.
Nobody has one.
That's what she does. They might have one, but they may not be a paramedic,
Okay.
those kinds of things. So it not quite. Apples to apples. Fruit to fruit, maybe, not apples to apples.
So her more qualification is that she's a paramedic.
Well, and because she's a paramedic, she is able to do the QA/QIs, which are mandated. We can't bill without the QA/QI review. And she has, because of her licensing, she has the ability to do QA/QI.
Does the director have that capability as well?
Yes.
I have nothing.
Anything else? Okay, let's do a roll call.
Brady,
Didn't say my name first. Yes.
Paul,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
It's tough, yes, for me. I'll have to go on the record.
Will there be a new job description for that position? Because in the past, there was one. Will this be added responsibilities to the job description or?
I don't know who has, I just handed
I handed it back.
it back. We have a job description for it. Yes.
Is it updated or is it the original when she was hired? I'm just curious.
I think it's updated, but I can't answer it. I'm not sure. I can't guarantee that.
Okay, new business claims.
I would show you that the authorized claims and open claims and presented for payment between 1/05/2022 and 1/18/2022 for checks 146,412 through 146,560 or through.
I don't have it in my hand, sorry.
And each check's number 1766 to 1774, for grand total of $373,626.67.
Support.
Motion by Carolyn, support by Bill. For pre-authorized claims. Okay, any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Next, new business, allowance for finance to make appropriate changes to the 2021 general. What didn't we cover last time, Stephanie?
Is this the one with the approval through the end of December?
Oh, I see, yeah,
Didn't
we
include
only did
any-
this for this year, okay,
Yeah.
so. I would like to make a motion that finance. That has the capability to make appropriate changes to the 2021 general. And non-general fund budgets. Period,
Support.
no time frame. Moved and supported, by Adam and Carolyn. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Next item is finance policy process. I submitted to everyone a updated, for the particular document within the finance committee's policies that addresses, the finance committee processes, and adding to that, to funnel all general, non-general fund line item transfers through finance committee for the purpose of, flow control and avoid duplicate entries.
I would say move the adoption of the page within the finance committee's policy and procedures identified as page dealing with finance committee processes and move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady.
Yes.
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Motion carries. Next item, policy regarding COVID. I'll let Carolyn, I'll let personnel take point on this.
We've spent a significant amount of time on this, and if I may, if we may, if personnel may, let us offer you a motion, and then we can have a discussion on it. I would move to provide effective January 17th, 2022, that all departments upon presentation of illness and unable to come to work by an employee due to COVID, utilize the policy as attached, providing for use of CST. Special provisions may occur for extensions or reoccurrence. This policy is to be revisited no later than September 30th, 2023.
Support.
Moved and supported. Now let's have the discussion.
The goal of that we have and which not our aim would be for this to be for those individuals who are sick from COVID, effective with the pay period that we began this past Monday, that while they were out with COVID related, up to 10 days, and there can be a reoccurrence to all the people who have gotten it more than once, and it's been maybe the Omicron or something, and they're fully vaccinated. That, generally speaking, doesn't seem to have a tremendous lot to do with it sometimes. But having said that, if I may, I hate to do this, but do we read this? Okay. Policy in the building, we recommend the wearing of masks if you are partially or unvaccinated for all employees and guests, but this is not a mandate. Modifications by department when applicable, individual departments may request in writing and a return written approval will be provided for variance or deviation. Policy regarding the use of sick time due to COVID. The special sick time designated as COVID sick time, CST, shall be used if you are unable to work due to COVID through a diagnosis by a medical professional or through positive COVID testing and or quarantine commencing January 17th, 2022. Regular sick time will be used for all of the reasons if you are missing work because of illness or medical appointment. Possible need for extension may be requested. Such requests must be in writing and verification will be approved by a board committee. A paper trail will be mandatory to use COVID sick time. If you are able to work from home and have approval of your supervisor, that will be conducted as work time with pay. Supervisor shall determine an appropriate method to assure work is being completed as appropriate. CS, we have to get approval from the ARPA committee before we can actually assure ourselves of use, but we believe that it does provide for that type of payment with it, the ARPA monies. And but our ARP committee needs to approve that. We can't just arbitrarily go in, even though ultimately it ends up on our table. We
We
can't just go in.
received just recently the final, what was the final rules and regulations governing the funds. And within the package, there was mention of using the funds for that type of thing. We tried to make sure that this was a paper trail of some sort where if we ever be audited or whatever, that they would have X amount of employees. There would be some paper trail saying that they were a doctor or positive test or something. And that's why we use that money for that reason. To try to keep it controlled. To some degree.
So you're asking the employees to utilize their sick time?
No, if they utilize their sick time, if they are regularly sick for any other reason. If they prove to be positive on the COVID and, or have a doctor's indication that they are,
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not understanding because I'm reading what it says, shall be used whether you are unable to work for COVID.
You may have an old copy, I'm sorry. Because it got changed.
that explain what you're asking.
Probably not.
Absolutely. Well, it's just a totally, so is this the entire packet or just the first few pages?
Those are the three primary pages. Thank you.
Quick question here. You said over rated, I believe.
For example, if, let's say, a family, when one employee, one person is working and their child gets it from school, sent home. That scenario could be addressed
So
too.
now, if they have to
Stay home.
quarantine,
Yeah,
like it's 5 days now.
correct.
So because of that, then you would give them for that
We
5
would-
days.
On them proving if anything, a letter from the school that they sent home or a positive test on it, that it could be applied.
So we need a medical from whoever
Yeah,
was sick and then the related
correct.
parents and whatever.
We're not trying to get too in depth. We just need to make sure that we have a paper trail following each incident so that when, if and ever we have to be questioned, we could have some reason why we shifted the funds to that rather than this. Knowing that this only goes for a short time.
Is there a scenario maybe of where? No, never mind.
So on a case by case basis, the ARPA committee approves, or you're looking for approval, ARPA committee?
Well, the ARPA committee is so far, it's just me right now, because no one else is here, so we need to have a meeting and make sure that the rest of the committee is on board with what we come up with.
Oh, okay, it's not by case by case, so the motion is upon approval of ARPA
There
committee,
you go.
Correct.
then this will be followed, right? I understand.
And Dan was our,
So at their next meeting, they would discuss this and run their recommendations back to the board. So got it. Okay. Any other discussion? Well, let's do a roll call.
Thompson,
yes,
Small,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes,
Herman,
Yes.
motion carried. Draft MGT cost allocation plan. We also received our new cost allocation for 2021. Whether approve it or accept it or.
This
No, it's not it.
this one.
oh,
it.
Yeah,
I did look at it.
It's page number 6 of that big packet. It's just a sheet right here.
Oh,
It
it's
was a
actually-
certification signed by an official.
Oh,
Kill 2 trees. And this is the plan we get up over here to the website, isn't it?
This is what our indirect costs are based off of.
Yep.
For this and also for the 2 CRP grants that we get. But
I'll
you
make
know,
a motion to accept the audit as presented. Support. Who supported?
And authorize you to sign.
Authorized to sign, yep. I did look this over, my bad. I wrote it down. Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, let's do a roll call, I guess.
Brumman,
Yes,
Brady,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes,
Small,
yes,
Next item on new business is the going out for bids for our audit. Quick motion that we will bid for our auditors for the year 2021.
I would like to see the criteria for those bids.
Stephanie's reviewing the last
How the words are gonna be in
bids that we
paper.
had, and that you would want to review those as well.
Pardon?
Stephanie has the last RFP that was sent out, and so she's gonna review that and have you,
That would be.
the board, work on that, I'm sure.
It's been several years since we
Oh, I know.
went out for bid, so I think it's time that we
It's,
just.
I agree completely with that, but I would like to have us, the other thing that, I believe needs to happen, and I believe it used to be, I haven't seen the last year or two. But, and that is that the contract runs for an 18-month period. Rather than terminating at the end of the presentation.
Okay. Well, motion to get made yet, because we were, think a seconded, so, or did you second it? Nobody did. No, Bill?
William, Bill did.
Yeah, we have a motion and a second. Is there anything,
I would move to table the motion pending copy of the contract. Is it okay with finance if we wait until February 2nd to put that up for ads?
we gotta hurry up, but
I don't need to be done quickly.
I guess if there's questions out there that need answering, then yes, I guess we'll do that.
Will that die?
Okay, been motion to, yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you.
I was thinking it through. Thinking it through in my mind, trying to figure out what to do. So February 2nd will be our next meeting, and then we'll put out for, okay,
All right.
yeah, it's gonna drop that day because. Okay. Okay, we got a motion in a second. Table until the 2nd of February. All those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
I am I vote for in favor, so 3-1, motion carries. Okay. Moving on to the finance report, they got several things, but nothing that needs to be. Before we discuss the change to the finance committee processes and Cheryl coming up, but I don't really have anything to report besides that policy update.
And three,
Oh, that's right.
and the library memorial fund, after the review of the revenue and expenditures for 2021, which will be included in your motion to do the amendments for 2021. They had taken in more money than anticipated, and their budget bottom line needs to be amended. The original memorial fund was $300. They've taken in $345 additional dollars. And so their end budget would be modified to $645 for the library memorial fund. And that they have one line item that they utilize for the increase in expenditures. And just a side note, they haven't spent any money. They took it in and they had an extra donation this year for that fund. So that would be the modification request, changing it from the original 300 to 645 as an end budget with 345 as increased revenue. And that would need board approval because it's changing the bottom line. If you prefer, I write this out and give it to you. I can do that for the next meeting. Okay.
Moved and seconded. Carolyn and Bill. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Brady,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
The second one is the American Rescue Plan Act. When we originally budgeted for that, we had not anticipated I had not anticipated the amount of interest income. And we have received an additional $514 in that fund as well, that is separated out as interest income. The original budget was $1,010,825. The 514 additional dollars amends that budget to $1,011,399 for the year 2021. The same thing, it went to a transfer out, which will go into the following year. So there's no additional expenditures. It's just a transfer that will carry over to the next year for the revenue.
Yeah, that's moved by Bill, supported by Carolyn. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Thompson,
Yes.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes.
One more, Fund 536, Michigan Small County Housing Grant, number 6. They obviously had a repayment. The original budget was $35,000 in this line item, and they had an additional payment of $36,000. So the overall modification to the budget, just so you know, was changed by $1,370 because they didn't need that money transferred in from fund balance. So that was how that was modified. So the overall increase was from 71,000 to 72,370 because they didn't have to utilize any extra dollars. They just got an extra payment on another payment payoff. Someone had passed away. These are loans that come in later once the person's estate is settled. So unfortunately, they had 2 payoffs as opposed to 1 this year. So that would be the modification from 71,000 to 72,370.
Support.
Motion by Carolyn, supported by Bill. Any further discussion? Roll call.
Small,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brady.
Yes. All right, personnel report.
Not for what we've already done.
Okay, treasurer's report.
I have been working with the accruals. I sent those all. We have put a folder or started a folder for the 2021 audit. All the payroll accruals, all the accounts payable accruals are completed to date. Anything moving forward, we are working on the receivables for year-end stuff. Notifications by the end of this month, the new process for the claims process for the delinquent and foreclosed tax properties that will be going out. We have one legitimate claim that is on file for the excess proceeds. I'm working with Title Check to get our final report on all this. We have concluded the process that we had foreclosed on the one property and had it revert back to the original owners. That process is complete. We have one more step that needs to happen. And I'm working with Tom Michael in regards to that, but the rest of it has been, to my understanding, is pretty complete, at least it is on our end. We're having a treasurers meeting on February 11th, and I understand equalization is having one on the 26th with the different township boards in regards. Some of that information is going to be carried over to the treasurers meeting because there's a lot of processes that are going to be changing, not only for the townships, but for the treasurers themselves in regards to addressing and that kind of thing. And I got a listing today from Lauren in regards to one of the issues that we had prior for the common feed. So she's got that to us. So we'll be reviewing that. That's a very handy tool that we'll be able to do some more reassurances in our office for anyone who has delinquent property and forfeited property. That would be a nice asset for us. Other than that, we've been just trying to get things done.
Thank you very much. Clerk's report.
We are working on migration from our current court system that's been in place since 1993. So that's going to be a big haul over. I think we're about probably in the middle as far as all the counties in the state of Michigan that have transitioned into this new court system. It's going to be different, like our cash receipting is all going to go through there. They've changed a lot of the codes. It's going to be fun, I'm sure of it. We're also taking the Michigan State Police have done a lot of CPL trainings online now. And so between this week and next week, all of us are in trainings pretty much all day long, which is nice to have some webinars and that and person ask questions in the chat rooms and whatnot. As far as the motion that was made today for the sick time and this, was it just a sick time portion? Is this an entire policy that's being adopted? Is there going to be meetings with the department heads in regard to that, and then the attachments on?
We won't have meetings until we know from the AAR or the ARPA committee.
And
Did they approve?
okay,
Which
so
hopefully
these
will happen.
actual exemption forms don't go into effect yet. Then these aren't requirements. Who, when, and where are these being filed with?
We won't have the meeting with the department heads until after the ARPA committee has approved that we do that with the money. Even though that ultimately comes back to the full board for decision. I think it would be presumptive of us to say what we're going to do, because I don't want to wipe out their ability to bring us recommendations and so on. I'm hoping that they will be able to have a meeting very soon.
Okay, because it says effective as of Monday.
If that's based on an ARPA committee saying, okay, yeah, that we'll agree with that use of funds.
So are they filling out their timesheets? Are they going to state something specific on their timesheets?
They're from market CS. Yes, Mark. Yes. CST, CS, as it indicates in the document.
That's all I have.
Okay, the clerk's report, we'll go on to presentations, and I appreciate all your patience. And we'll start with Melissa Cordes.
Hello, everyone, and I'm sure you got reports in your board packets, you should have anyway. So I will be brief. I just wanted to touch base on, for the registrar's office, how the fourth quarter went and overall how the year went. So fourth quarter documents, we did see a slowdown in December of the recording of documents, but this is not uncommon. So the fourth quarter ended with a total recorded document of 1,137. And a total of 231 property sales. I guess big thing for fourth quarter, other notes I have here, I did attend a Mart district meeting, so I brought it back, last year in July, we recorded a document that was 671 pages long. It's quite time consuming. This has kind of been going on. We'll get one or two of these types of documents every year. And the counties that are in the northern part of the state are the lucky ones who seem to get these documents. Normally because they're coming from oil and gas companies and they're trying to save themselves some money and, you know, in recording fees. So that large document, 600 some pages, the first 35 or 37 pages was all that had to do with Alcona County. The rest of the document was nothing but exhibits, which had absolutely nothing to do with Alcona County. So I brought this up at our district meeting for the Registers Association. I don't know if it's going to move forward, but from the standpoint here is, you know, we're paying to record that document. We have to pay for the space on the server. It gets quite, it's very time consuming. I mean, I had one staff member working on that document alone and it took them 3 days to complete the task. It just, you can't scan all 671 pages at one time or you're going to overload the system and then you're going to have a real technical breakdown. So this is a big issue for me. I know there's other registers in the northern part of the state that have these problems too. So I guess I'm just going to keep kind of picking away when we go to our district meetings, and hopefully at some point we can maybe come to a decision on how we can stop that the documents being so large. I mean, bigger than a ream of paper. So it's just disheartening when you get them because it takes so long to process. As far as our year-end annual report went, I mean, we had a good year overall. The Register of Deeds office saw an increase pretty much in all areas. We had a 21% increase in Register of Deeds services over the previous year. We had a 16% increase in the number of property sales, and actually the dollar amount of property sales increased 29%. We ended the year recording 5,010 documents, which is right about where I had anticipated. That was up 13% from previous year. I did list some other document types, some warranty deeds up 24%, quitclaim deeds 26%. So we just saw a huge increase all around, and we had a 25% increase in the number of electronically recorded documents, which I can kind of see that maybe increasing a little each year, since a lot of companies and title companies are getting on board with being able to submit the documents that way. It's just quicker for them. It's quicker to record, and it's a quicker turnaround time for them to receive that document back. So that's just a brief description. I don't know if anyone has questions. Okay, thank you.
I apologize. I'm sure that I did that.
Appointment.
Yeah, no problem at all.
Thank you.
Jennifer, please, if you would.
Hello. So last year, the Michigan State Police provided for the 2021 coronavirus emergency supplemental funding, and they sent that out to courts, prosecutors' offices, and sheriffs, and I believe our county took advantage of those for some of their COVID needs that they have in their offices for people working remotely and different other things. This year, they sent out another option for the courts only this time to make application, and I sent in an application. I worked closely with John to try to kind of see some of the needs and some of the things that the county can still use. And they came back meagerly with a $2,404 grant. So it would include supplies for all labs, meeting pro licenses for the secondary courtroom, some Zoom licenses, net motion licenses, which is for the VPNs, and an IBM and a Mass 360 license. So basically, my request today is to ask the board to approve Chairman to sign this grant so that we can go ahead and execute.
Also moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded for the grant. The only request I have is every single piece of documentation we can provide to the clerk and the treasurer for tracking.
For sure.
Any other further discussion? Roll call, please.
Small,
Yes.
Thompson,
Yes.
Brumman,
Yes.
Brady,
Yes.
Jennifer? Oh, are you submitting it to him for signature? And is it just that one page right here?
The last page. No, that's a report that I got to report over this page. I have to get the person on the other end of the Michigan State Police to sign it, and then I'll get that to you then.
Okay, thank you. And then court quantity.
Yeah, I talked to her just a little bit.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Next up, Kitty Garris, preschool and daycare and after school program proposal for Alcona County.
Yes, hi. Thank you for your time. I was here a little over a month ago, as you may recall, and left this proposal. And I really don't know the protocol for COVID relief funds, or if you have one yet. Would you like just a summary of this proposal?
Yeah, provide us a summary, but I will say ultimately, we'll have to present it to the ARPA committee for final, and see what can actually qualify as part of it, but yeah, please.
Okay, all right. Well, as I stayed in here, Dan O'Connor, the superintendent, had gathered a group together prior to the pandemic to explore how they could arrange to have a daycare, preschool, after-school center in Alcona County, and they were looking specifically on the campus. They had crunched some numbers and met with other community leaders who had implemented similar programs. And they had come up with a budget of $800,000. And I'm trying to whittle that down because it's a really big number. But after speaking with specialists in the field, specifically the Michigan reimbursement rate for daycare providers, it's ultra low to start out with. It's like $280 an hour is the lowest rate for each child that the center is reimbursed. So after speaking with them, it's clear that we won't be able to break even for 3 years. So I put together a proposed plan to fund that for 3 years for a total of $352,000. That doesn't include the building. What I'm hoping to do for the building, to build the center, is to approach the township supervisors. They each have COVID relief funds, and if each township, since it's a community center that would benefit the entire county, see if each of the townships might contribute. And then that way there isn't such a big chunk taken out of the county's COVID relief fund. So that's kind of my overall plan or goal.
Go ahead, keep on saying.
And so I've got it down to a total of $562,000 that we would need in total from the townships and the county. And I've been doing this without any compensation, so I'm at a point where I need to kind of pass the baton perhaps to someone else, because I can't continue doing that. And I know Dan is interested, so I can have a conversation with him if it needs to go through committee and other stuff. So I know he's very on board with this. He's been very cooperative in trying to gather as much information or convey as much to me so that I can put this together. And I know it's very needed for this community. I've talked to a lot of people, and it's I think there are other programs that are needed too, like the homeless shelter. But I thought this would be, my first shot. Because it was clear, since they'd already been working on it, that there was a real need for it.
We have on, it's called yeshope.org.
Yes, it's a
Do they get paid?
it's a not-for-profit that I've established. But the funding would go to a new entity that is set up.
True, but it says in your program that they would help set up the center along with
Yeah,
hiring and so forth. Are they getting funds to perform?
yes, and the initial capital outlay, let's see, that's year 3, it's on the first page of the proposed budget. Let me get to that page. Oh, let's see, no, it's on the second page, I'm sorry. Total initial capital outlay is $160,000. And it's set up a new not-for-profit. Administrative expenses for Yes Hope over 3 years is $50,000. So it's probably not enough to manage this whole thing, to actually build it. We have to construct the building, and that would be coming out of the administrative. But what I'm planning is as we get this happening, and it's built and it's started to operate, that we can get more funding through Yes Hope, do additional fundraising. So that's where Yes Hope would come in as far as receiving the receipt of any funds.
And this 362,000 that you're requesting is to be, let's say, if it was approved, it would be divvied out yearly, so much per year.
Yeah, well, I would be looking for the initial capital outlay, and that would help us get it built. And then the first year operating expenses. That, in fact, if I can get money for the building from the townships or Dan or whoever, we would just need the 160, and yes, it would be the first year plus the 160. And the first year I projected a loss of $83,000. So 240 would be the initial amount from the county, and a building amount would come from the townships.
So the organization that would be in place to actually run and manage this doesn't exist yet.
Right, exactly. It would be a not-for-profit that would partner with the school, but we don't want school employees, because we realize that with the legacy costs that are paid to the state for any school employee, our costs would be significantly higher, and it would probably take us 5 years to break even. So that was one of the issues that they were confronting when they visited this issue previously. And so I thought if we did a not-for-profit, we could eliminate those legacy costs. And I tried, it's a pretty conservative plan. I feel like, we're gonna have to look for outside funding probably by the 3rd year. Because Dan and his group are probably right. It's probably closer to $800,000 that we need over 3 years. So, but I'm trying to do this in a way that, the whole community can feel the pain a little bit, but not taking all of it out of the county's budget.
But the one thing I could see being a bit of a hurdle would be that the organization doesn't exist yet.
Okay.
And then we go and request ARPA funds for this maybe to happen.
Well, yes. Hope
Make a
does
payment
exist.
to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Make a payment to the charity, but I could be wrong, but I think it seems to me probably the best way to proceed with this, well, it's a presentation this time, but if I had to make a recommendation is that we pass this on to the ARPA committee to have their input.
Yeah,
But I just don't, I feel like if you group in another organization.
yeah, I know that the expense, it'd be out of my pocket and I just, if I could get $10,000, and a commitment that this is something that, the board wants to move forward on, but, yeah, I can't spend any more on my own pocket right now.
No, I
As much
understand.
as I can.
Yeah. Okay, well, I put you in touch with ARPA committee members.
Okay, that would
We'll
be
have a
good.
meeting pretty soon
Okay,
to discuss some other things, but, like I said, I don't want to sit here and give you all kinds of hope like this can actually happen. I see
yeah,
a lot of hurdles.
yeah,
And it's unfortunate because it's a needed service.
yeah, it
But
is.
with all the strings attached to the ARPA funds and how it's supposed to work, you can't just go, okay, we're gonna put aside this and then start throwing money out because of the right reporting and everything is required.
Sure.
But let's, I don't want the conversation to die,
Okay,
so let's, I'll give you contact information for ARPA.
and I'll
staff
share
people.
that with Dan O'Connor.
Yeah.
Because, at least he's getting paid for his time,
Right,
so.
no, yeah, right.
Yeah, okay, that would be wonderful. Are you gonna send it by email or,
However you prefer.
yeah, if you could just write it.
Okay.
Give it to me.
Well, actually, I don't have the information right.
Okay,
available
yeah, if you could email, that would be
Yeah,
great.
and I have your email. so-
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
Talk to anybody with NIMSCO.
Not about, well, yes, I have, and they, offered, a grant that may help, but it only amounted to about $11,000. So there wasn't a great deal of help there, and it was for existing centers, so,
That's-
yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing, that's where,
Yeah, I mean, my whole search was, where's the money? Where can we come up with the money
Yeah.
for this? And yes, I've been through their doors and others, and, I kind of process of elimination. I'm here looking for COVID funds. Yeah,
all right, thank you very much.
sure.
Okay, so that's presentations, communications, you can look at your packets for information provided. Committee reports, Terry, you got anything?
Just some veterans met yesterday, and they're working forward on their project. Keep it all.
To be there next
Are
week.
you referencing their building project or
You all be both, but yeah, it's a building project.
have they run that past Tom yet?
Yeah, I met with Mr. Smiley last week, and they're moving forward. As far as Terry's saying is they're still doing research. It's not like they're not making contracts and things like this.
That's all I believe in that. Next meeting, maybe on the third Tuesday, 2 p.m.
Okay,
We'll be looking forward to seeing you.
yeah, that's the last one. I don't have any, all the committee stuff I've done, I've already talked about today, so how about you, Bill?
Well, very similar to that, basically the ACCO contract, and we'll try to get together quickly on a meeting with the ARPA fund, so we get some of that settled out.
When you do that, can you bring that packet from,
And the paper.
yeah, just for reference, not for anything other than that, just so they have something to look at. Carolyn?
Township meetings, 211 board meeting, we're still zooming. We have a full annual meeting in February. 911, their contract is pretty well solidified with their union. personnel bill and I've been involved with the EMS contract negotiations. And, probably fair to say that moving forward. And I'm not sure what else.
COVID is taking over a lot.
All right. Last section of public comment, 5 minutes. Ready present or online?
I will.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, Lisa Turek, Harrisville Township.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. Quick question, I mean, not a question, but about the daycare thing. You know, that might be a subjective thing as to whether or not we need a daycare. And I would be all for, if we were gonna spend money on that, pay parents to stay home with their children and raise their own children instead of making the school do it. School does a lot of raising of children instead of actually teaching, and to add more kids into a system where the parents aren't taking care of their own children. I would be all for making, family important as opposed to shifting a bunch of kids into daycare. So, and I know that the county's not really responsible for starting new businesses in town. Otherwise, I would have come 21 years ago and asked for money to start my business because there was no chiropractor here. And I could have said, geez, chiropractic crisis. How about some money to fund my business? So I don't want to be dismissive of her by any means, because there are people who can't take care of their kids. But I always just say, why aren't we supporting families to support their own children? I mean, it's tough. I know parents have to work, but not always. I know a lot of parents, stay-at-home parents who make it work and just raise their own children and not give them to daycare and put more burden on the school to take care of more children that parents aren't doing. So I don't know. It's just, I mean, it's a societal problem. It's not, nothing personal, but sometimes I just wonder why we don't put money into families, and parents raising their own children instead of putting them in daycare. So that's it.
Thank
It's a
you.
personal thing. You're
Yeah.
welcome.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay, hearing none. Additional comments and concerns for commissioners? Nothing there. Meeting adjourned till February 2nd, 2022 at 1:30 p.m.